following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Players from 9 nations converge in St. Louis as USChessChamps.com presents the 2nd annual Summer Chess Classic.
Hello, and welcome to the final day of the Summer Chess Classic here in 2019. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Caleb Denby. I'm joined by the wonderful Grandmaster Jesse Kraai. And a lot of the action has already been decided here today, Jesse. We got a little bit of a late start thanks to all that exciting action happening in Croatia. And so let's actually just take a look and see where we stand right now at this very moment. In the A group, the tournament has been decided. Liam Lee is your 2019 A Group champion of the Summer Chess Classic. Jeffrey Zhang tried his best to get a full point today. If he had, we would be sitting here waiting for playoffs, but he only managed to draw, and so Liam Lee is our sole victor here in 2019. In the B Group, this tournament was actually decided yesterday, with Grigory Oparin being our champion. We got a chance to talk to him a little bit yesterday, and I think he stayed for quite a while, giving us his thoughts on a few of the remaining games. And so congratulations to Grigory once again for taking home the gold in the B group. Igor Kovalenko and Hovhannes Gabuzian, after their scores today, are tying for second place. And lastly, in the C group, the story of one man stayed the story of one man throughout almost this entire event. Arturs Naiksans took the lead pretty early on in round, I think, 4 or 5, and he has kept it ever since, finishing with an astonishing 6.5 out of 10, a wonderful score. Following him is Aram Hakobian with a full point in this round, bumping him up to 6. Dmitry Gordievsky has a chance to actually also catch Aram Hakobian and tie for that second place spot. But, the championships all decided here, Jesse.
That's right.
We were a little bit too late to catch that action happening live. Here we see the tournament hall, the remaining players walking around, a lot of the players already having vacated, maybe for good. Hopefully they'll come back for more tournaments later, but this tournament is wrapping up. Let's take a look and see what kinds of prize money these players are winning for their scores here in the event. In the A group, Liam Lee is taking home $12,000 for his first place prize, and Jeffrey Zhang is going home with a cool $9,000. Not a bad week of chess for pretty much everybody in the A group. And over in the B group, Grigory Oparin takes home the first place prize of $6,000, and like I said, second place is still kind of up for grabs. We might see a tie there, depending on Dmitry Gordievsky's... I'm sorry, not Dmitry Gordievsky. Depending on Daniel Friedman's finish, we might see something happen in the B group there for second place. And lastly, in the C group, the first place prize of $4,000 goes to Mr. Arturs Naiksans for his wonderful, like I said, 6.5 out of 10 score, a crazy high score for one of these events. Well done to him. As always, you can join us for this broadcast on YouTube at St. Louis Chess Club. You can join us on USChessChamps.com if you want to see how these games took place and you want to follow along with the games still remaining. And you can join us on Twitter using the hashtag #SummerChessClassic. Well, Jesse, with the winners decided, I think we should just try and get them in here for an interview as quickly as we can.
We're going to do some interviews today, talk about the tournament, kind of recap the whole thing, and then it's fiesta, it's party time. People have done 10 rounds, they're exhausted, they want to hang out and tell some rude jokes. That's what we'll do too.
All right. Just a fun way to wrap up this event, I think.
That's right.
So why don't we take a look at a couple games while we wait for Arturs to get down to the studio.
Well, all right, let's start out with this Ganguly game. And so we're thinking that if Ganguly can somehow win, he would, tie first? He would be in second place if Ganguly wins.
If either player wins, then they tie for second place. So the only result that doesn't put either player in a tie is a draw.
No, but Friedman can't win anything, right? So it's just Ganguly who...
So no, if Friedman, well, yeah. So Ganguly has the advantage, obviously. I'm sorry. It sounds like Arturs is ready to come in. So
Okay,
I'm going to
great.
step out now and let him get in the studio here.
Great, and while that's going on, I will say this game, definitely Ganguly was pressing for the longest time, and now I just want to say I'm not sure what's happening anymore. The bishop and king are active, and basically it was one of these situations where in order to hold on, or try to hold on to his extra pawn, black became passive, and I'll just show that moment over here where, let's see, we got this position, and black became passive here. So we're going to talk about this, though, with our guest after our interview. We'll have him help us understand some of these positions that we're going through that will help decide the tournament. And we have with us Arturs Nixons, and he won the tournament. Very
Thank
good.
you.
And, you know, I was just telling Arturs, I said, hey, so the guy who wins the C, he gets to play in the B group next year. And they said it's not totally official, but that's the unofficial understanding. You know, so hopefully we can see you back next year in the B group. And yeah, how does this change your life?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is my first visit in the United States doing a chess tour. And before the St. Louis, I played in the National Open in Las Vegas. I shared the second place together with Igor Kovalenko, and we came here. Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. Yesterday, I had a very funny game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for my fans who were following me, cheering for me. I got gifted the game in one move, and I was so surprised that it happened, and I just could not pull myself together, and I managed to blunder away the win. So, for me, the most critical thing was to gather myself together, because it was quite difficult, to be honest. I mean, after yesterday's terrible game, and that was a bit embarrassing to say the least. But I had to pull myself together, and I think I did it quite nicely today.
Yeah. Well, we were shocked too. I mean, we had Grigory Operin, who won the B section, and we had him in here looking at your game, and we started right when your opponent played Rook A4, when Gordievsky played Rook A4. And all of a sudden, we were like, wait a second. This isn't so
Yeah, I think
easy.
actually after Rook A4, it's a draw. It's unbelievable. I was
Unbelievable,
in a big shock. I mean, what is going on there? But of course, I missed a few easy wins before. But I mean, this happens. I mean, I was tired. It was a long tournament. So.
And even after Rook A4, I liked what you did. You played that Rook G8 move. It had a lot of venom. We were uncertain it took us a long time to actually see that it was a draw.
Yeah.
You probably for you guys too, it was not totally clear.
Well, it felt for me it is a draw, but the most critical moment was that I realized I have to play in that position Rook G5 earlier, so that I don't miss this idea King F4, King G3, King H4. I might even lose this endgame, so I also need to be careful.
Yeah. And so now, what are you playing next, and what does it look like?
I'm going home with Igor tomorrow. And we initially were planning also to play in the World Open, but we changed those plans because I have another tournament. I'm going to play in France in Saint-Quentin for my club, an open tournament in memoriam of Aloysius Kvenis, who passed away last year. And it's a very important tournament also for me. And but anyway, I mean, if I'm going to be invited here another year, let's say next year, B group, it's fantastic. I mean, I will gladly come.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, why don't we get your opinion on some of these games? I guess this is the first one I want to ask you about with Friedman against Ganguly. Maybe, before I even show this position, this might be a little reminiscent of your game yesterday, because it looked like white was, or rather black had this at least he was better in this position, right? White is just kind of suffering passively. And here, so he's up a pawn, but he plays knight b8.
Yeah.
And so it's a little passive, but he's doing one of these things where you're trying to force a win.
I mean, Ganguly obviously did not want to draw, so he was looking for ways to continue this game, and I think Daniel would be happy to make a draw. But Summer, he misplayed it. Yeah, this is the last moment when I saw the game.
And now it's a little dangerous looking, right?
Probably. I'm not sure what exactly he missed. What did he play?
King.
Maybe he was planning to play knight d7 and he missed bishop d8. Maybe that is the point. At least from afar, when I was looking at this position, I thought if I was here with black, I would play knight d7, rook g6, and activate my pieces somehow.
Right,
so I would
right.
imagine there was some sort of blunder in the calculations. Maybe I'm wrong. But
Well, and this is also the last move of time control, so that's it's very understandable. One nice trick here, I thought, was bishop b4 here, and now there's no rook g3 because of king f4 and rook f8.
yeah.
I thought that was that. So he might have missed that one too. So we have here knight d7, check, a5.
So now obviously black is fighting for the draw, but the
Right.
bishop is too powerful. Well, I don't know what to make of this.
It looks lost, but it's still very complicated, right?
Well, it's difficult to tell. For now, it's black to move, right?
It's black to move, yeah. How about we just take on a3?
Yeah,
and see what
probably rook
happens?
a3 seems to be the practical choice. Rook a3, king f5, I would imagine. And the threat is rook h7, so checkmate ideas.
Yeah. Ooh, this is rough, huh?
Probably still black should be okay. I need to activate my rook somehow. I'm not sure how. Because rook h7, king e8, king e6 looks
Maybe
a bit
Rook
dangerous.
d3.
Maybe rook a2, so that king e6 can always be met by some rook e2 check. So rook h5, there's some sort of a race of pawns.
Okay, let's
I mean,
try.
black should be okay. Some knight f8 you can even play at some moment. Two pawns versus 2 pawns at each side.
Okay, just to show what Artur's idea is that if rook h7, king e8, I cannot play king e6
Yeah.
easily.
There's
because
even a
of rook
fork on
e2
f8, right?
and
right.
knight f8, yeah. So there's maybe more than one way for black to do this, but let's, okay, so we're going to have a race. You're a little faster, but I do get here with check. Let's just try.
But I mean, if I'm playing black, I can just play knight f8, right? And there's no check on h7. I keep the g6 square. So something like
Let's try
not
g5.
sure, yeah, g5, something like rook g2 makes
Good.
sense.
So my dirty trick was I wanted to
Yeah,
g6
then
and
rook
rook
h7.
h7, but now you stop me
Yeah.
from doing that. Okay, yeah.
I'm not so sure. This is so clear. Rook h6, b3, a4. I've got the feeling that this will end with some kind of perpetual checksum, or maybe I'm wrong. I mean, instead of this, if white does not want this, if you go a few moves back, when he played g5, he could have just give a lot of checks, h7, h8, h7, h8.
Right. Let's look at the game. In the game, black played b4 and just said, let's run, save ourselves a little time, and head on down the board.
I don't like this. No, I mean, because you can now let's
Now
say,
I might stop the pawn. Yeah.
yeah, you can put the rook on the B rank, king f5, and potentially try to capture those both weak
Like
pawns on
king
h5
f5,
and f5.
right?
Maybe not immediately when the pawn is not going anywhere. So,
I just wanted to set up your rook h7, king e6 thing. I thought that was a good idea.
yeah, but it's not threatening, right? Because of knight
Or
f8.
knight f8, that's true.
So let's say black plays here b3, so you need to activate your rook somehow. Rook d6 maybe. Rook d6, so I don't know.
King e7.
King e7 and something like maybe.
Rook d2.
Oh,
He checked. In the game, he checked immediately on h7.
well, it makes sense because
What is the idea after king e6?
king e6.
That's what it was played.
Maybe just to win some time, rook h6. You can always go back.
It's true.
But-
In fact, that's what happened. That was a cue
Yeah.
you saw.
But this
through
looks
that
like a
way.
risky choice. I'm not sure what was wrong with rook a3, but let's say I could even play here something like a rook c6, for example. So I want to put the rook on b7.
Here?
Yeah. So let's say you play b3, rook c7, king e6, and rook b7. That is the idea. So looks
Yeah.
sort of risky for black because I mean he just gave up that a pawn for I'm not sure for what. And the pawn on f5 is maybe even irrelevant because white just wants to take on h5, followed by h4, king g6, h5.
Well, they agreed to draw. They just went back and forth. They decided it wasn't so complicated.
Well, what can I say?
What
Maybe
can we
maybe it is
say?
a drawing position, but yeah.
All right, Arturas, thank you so much for coming in, and congratulations. I hope to see you back next year.
Hopefully.
And then you'll play National Open, you'll come here, and then World Open too.
I'm not sure I'm going to play in the National Open anymore, but I definitely look forward for St.
Okay.
Louis. Yeah.
All right.
It was a fantastic experience here.
Yeah. All right, congratulations again. And so, while we're waiting for Leliem to come in, who I think is going to come in for an interview, we will take a quick look at the other game which is finishing, which is Elshan against Dmitry Gordievsky. Earlier on, I felt this position was winning just on an intuitive level, and I guess I still feel that way. The general principle is just usually, Caleb is fighting with me a little bit on this one, but usually is that it'll be a win if it were to be a one king and pawn endgame if you lifted the knights. And the reason that's a nice rule of thumb is these endgames with the knights are actually so complicated that it's nice to have some way of trying at least to evaluate it without getting bogged down in like 1,000 variations.
Yeah. Well, I do appreciate the rule of thumb. This seems like a position where it might be true, right? But I'm just a little cynical at having watched some of these Croatia games, like especially Magnus's game against Vichy, when Vichy found some miracle draw in the knight end game. These things just seem to happen more and more often lately in these end games where the rule of thumb seems to miraculously fail to something that's not really intuitive, but these players can sometimes just find somehow.
So, question.
Yes.
Is Leliem out there ready to come in? Maybe not.
Maybe not. Let's give him a few minutes,
Okay, we'll give him
and
a few
we'll
minutes.
try to get him in here.
Well, let's do it. Let's do this variation. I'll try to defend for black, though I think it is lost. So let's say king g3,
Okay.
knight d5, king b7, king c7, king g4, takes here. Let's just say king c7. Maybe there's a different move. Let's just try that for first, though. And, well, then I guess king e6 immediately over.
So king b6 maybe.
All right, let's try king e6. Let's just first go with the gut move, king f5.
So yeah, king c5 is the point of king b6.
And the poor king is simply not very close. So, well, there's hope, I guess. You could, and maybe my king e6, actually, let's just say that my king e6 is maybe not necessary. And obviously, it's always hard to get the knight to that kind of diagonal way.
Black's kind of facing the same problem, though. He'd love to make just a threat on one of the white's pawns on the king's side.
So let's,
but
here, look
tough
at
to
this one.
maneuver.
On this one, you magically did get there in time.
Somehow, some way.
All right. I think we should be able to find something here, though. White is king g3 was played, and knight d5, b7 was played. So we got that far. We guessed that one right. And we're saying king c7's
No
forced.
other move. It's played.
King g4.
You almost have to take the pawn, but maybe there's
You could consider knight
e3.
e7 or knight e3. But knight e3, maybe. They both, actually, it's actually a funny thing. Knight e7 will also stop me from coming in there.
Knight
and
e3 is
maybe
threatening to attack some pawns,
some
right?
knight f1. Okay, that's a thought, yeah. So king g4 on the board. Actually, this is a hard decision for Elshan. That's a hard one. Let's go through that line just to make sure, because if nothing, he obviously might do any of those other options. But let's just see if this was actually drawing. So,
What to do for white?
So let's go this way. And
King c5 seems natural.
king c5.
It's not so easy.
Let me see if I can do the non-natural.
No, yeah, this looks like a tough endgame. It's very thin, right? You know, there's not a lot of branches to cover it, but it's almost like there's not too many options here. You kind of just have to play it, and
Okay, so
either black gets
Elshon
back or
did
he
play
doesn't.
knight e3,
yeah, this looked maybe, I don't know.
king h5 on the board, and I'm assuming knight f1 is the idea.
With 17 minutes on the clock, I would have expected him to spend a bit more time there.
But he has a simple idea. He just
Yeah.
wants to liquidate everything.
Yeah, of course. So
Let's say
maybe
h3.
he calculated this out and was confident he could catch everything, but I'm
you
not
gotta
so
you have to
sure.
catch it absolutely everything though, right?
Yeah.
So knight f1 has not yet been played. One thing that's funny is, I'll just say maybe this was
He went ahead
reflected.
and captured on b7 rather than knight f1. And I think this makes a little bit more sense because he might be planning the move g4 after king g6.
Oh, that's possible.
I don't know how much sense it makes, but
Well, let's just put that on the board
Mhm.
because that seems reasonable. So king b7, king g6, g4. So
So
if
now-
f4,
now
then
the point is
here,
that the h-pawn can't move. This is a little bit awkward to deal with, I think.
But what if I
Yeah,
if I
simply
snip?
taking there. Well, then I
No,
was
no, then
going
you,
to
then you
take
get to
on
do that.
f3.
You
Yeah.
got that. Okay.
The one that was hard for me to think about was actually f takes g, and then just a move like h3 or h4.
Well, white did play king g6, and white doesn't have much time, so he's got to move. And we're expecting g4, and yeah, does white have any tricks?
So f takes g, I think, is the only thing to really worry about. After knight takes, I don't know if h3 or h4 is better, but
Let's play h4.
okay.
Now, yeah, my instinct is this is lost because just it's so terrible
Yeah.
to have the knight, and this guy's so far away. This pawn might even be a negative. It's just kind of in the way.
Yeah,
Elshon's thinking.
I don't like this line. I don't think this can be right for.
Well, if you don't play, I
black
thought
side.
that was a nice idea because at least it's an idea. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. Let me just say on Elshon's behalf here that one thing with this, this was our decision point, right?
Mhm.
That I think he might have intuitively, like I felt, just thought that king takes b7 was lost, and
That's
it
fair.
might still be lost. But it was surprising to me that black did get back in
There
time.
was some amount of resiliency. We actually saw g4 get played, and
I don't know what else he's supposed to do.
we're at knight takes g4 now.
Oh yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
h4 is an obvious move to play.
h4 looks quite good, although maybe you don't like h3. I
Well,
think
what's the
maybe
point
just,
of h3? I want.
Well, I just want to take your f6 pawn.
Oh no, I'm not interested in the f6 pawn.
Okay. It
Right.
also maybe shakes loose the knight from a square where it guards h6, but there are plenty of ways for white to achieve that.
Okay, it's fair. He did play h4. So let's bring the king in and see what happens, right?
Mhm.
So, it might be close, but I doubt. Actually, no, I don't think it's going to be close because we go h5. Let's just say king d7,
King d7 is fair.
and let's just put this king here for kicks, right? We go here, and the question is, I need to tag the knight, and then
Maybe king d6 instead of king d7 was a little
Okay.
bit more accurate, because then I could come to e5 in this position.
okay,
So no, so before king d7,
right.
yeah.
So king d6. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say here, check,
Okay, I'll play king e5.
and then knight e3. So let me just say that my king g7 is in some ways the right idea, but here it's tactical where I don't want the knight to come back with check. And I think that I think it would surprise me if black could survive this.
It's, yeah, e5 now seems like the wrong square after knight f5.
All right, you can do a different one.
So you played knight f5 here?
Yeah, knight You could have also
I'll-
gone
yeah.
to d7 if you want.
Well, I'll try king e6 after knight f5.
This actually will put the position on the board. So it's king d7.
Ah, okay.
So you can get the king e6, right? So here, and then knight e3.
And now I can play knight e5 check. And let's see. Can I play f5 here? Now I wanted to play f4 and hope that I can keep your knight at bay with my pawn. So knight f7 is forced.
No, this is always going to be lost because the poor guy has no way.
What if I play f3?
I'll start by taking your pawn, and then I'll come back.
Well, I don't appreciate that. Where'd your knight come from?
So we'll go back a couple moves. So let's start actually in the game
Yeah.
position, and this is where Elshan's thinking about it, and he's going to need, I would think, a problem-like solution to draw this thing.
Definitely.
How about this? King e7.
Well,
Or
it's
unfortunately,
white to
white's
move.
move.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
problem
play knight
number
f5.
one. King e8 might be more resilient
Let's
after
try
that.
king e8.
Knight f5.
But the problem is, okay, I go here, and you still can't take. Let's just show this variation.
Whoa, I can take, right? Instead of king f8, I play knight g4.
No, I have h6.
Yeah, knight g4.
Oh, you do get back. You do get back. Okay, I have to be careful. White just played what might be a great move. He just played king f7.
The classic shouldering of the king.
And poor black, it's really a bummer. So, right, yeah, that's much simpler. I like that a lot. And now we're still going to be doing something like knight f5, e3. Yeah, let's see. So imagine we're going to play knight e3.
Knight h6 is something to maybe consider.
Okay, so let's just take it.
King e8. Fighting for some kind of square, but it doesn't quite look right.
Okay, let's try this one first. Knight here, right?
Yes.
So this looks like Zugzwang, actually.
A little bit. It does a little bit. Your king is just way too close. This has to be lost.
Yeah. In general, that's my understanding of these positions anyway, yeah. Oh, Elshan. I want to revisit this briefly while we're waiting for this. So b7, king c7, king g4. He played, and he had a lot of time here. And let's just see about this. So king b7.
Yeah, I think this was a better try because, there's only the f6 pawn to worry about, and if you can...
Okay, let me
use
just
some time.
try this again. So we did king b6, and I want to try to be hopefully a little more clever about this. One problem I can do actually is, let's say here, right? King
Yes.
c5.
What else?
I want to do here,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to make a claim that it's close to Zugzwang. Maybe that's not true, but that's the claim.
All right, I'll try my best to pass. I'll play king c4. I'm just trying.
Let's just see.
Yeah.
d4,
King
right?
d4.
e4.
So here's a question. King e3.
Good, let's go down this road. So here, right? Tell me if I do something you don't like.
All right.
And here you can play knight h3, and you should be drawing this.
I'm
thing
willing to
easily.
accept this line because it led to me getting a draw.
So something like that.
Is king f5 the wrong move somehow? Is there some other
Well,
way to try to win this
what-
by playing like knight e6?
And then?
Either sacrificing on g5 or playing f4.
Actually, I like your sacrificing idea. Let's say king c6.
And
It doesn't feel right. Because already f4 doesn't win.
well, I've heard another rule, and that's that knights are really bad at stopping rook pawns.
But kings are
But
great.
kings are good at that.
Kings are really good. Okay, so that looks like that. At the very least, there was surprising chances to hold this thing after king c7 here, or
So
in this
what
position to
happens-
take the pawn.
Yeah. What happens on knight e6 and f4? I'm just trying to aim for
Okay.
a similar position to the game.
So, but all right. So in this position here,
Knight e6.
well, actually, let's see. Our king is. If you wanted to do that, maybe you could play knight e6 here. And then
Yeah, I think this would have been a better version, but was king g4 played in the game? I
Yes,
think,
king
yeah.
g4 was playing the game. I'm just wondering,
This might have been better for white
I
if this
kinda
is the line we're walking down.
doubt it a little bit, but like knight e3 seems like a bummer because I'll be threatening knight f1.
All right, I'll play knight takes g5. These are pretty desperate resources, though, for someone who claims to have a winning position, right? But
No, that might be a good move. Yeah. So this isn't what he did. We got an f4. Maybe this here, here, here. I think if you take them in the box, at least that's what I'm going to claim.
I think I agree. What if I play h4?
Can I do this here?
I didn't think so, but it looks like, okay, you can. You get to f8.
Right.
Wow.
Okay,
Just in time. Everything's by a hair for black, though.
So Elshan's thinking about it now.
Yeah, this position looks much, much less promising in terms of a draw.
Yeah, all I'm familiar with. There's some study-like positions where you got this without the pawn, but I don't see the pawn being a big factor. And like I said, he might even be in the way. The pawn.
Yeah.
So all right, well I guess we're about to wrap it up there. And why don't we do this, Caleb? Before we leave, let's glance again at our final standings, and we'll conclude this beautiful tournament.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the standings in the A group once again. So there we see, once again, Liam Lee, the tournament champion in Group A for this Summer Chess Classic. Jeffrey Zhang getting second place, probably sole second place, depending on David Howell's result.
And I should add, that game looks like a draw between the two Englishmen. However, I will say it has not been a friendly draw. These guys have been fighting. Howell had a chance to repeat moves earlier and said, no, let's fight.
Brutal.
Actually, this game looks mildly similar to the game we saw with Fabi and Magnus. But it looks like it should easily be drawn, mostly because White's active enough to check Black to death if he needs to.
Yeah. So a draw there leaves Jeffrey in sole second, and then David and I believe Sam Shanklin would be tied for third place in the Group A. Do you want to take a look at the Group B standings?
Let's look at Group B.
All right. Grigory Operin once again wins $6,000 in the first place title in Group B of the Summer Chess Classic, a full point and a half ahead of his nearest competitors. Igor Kovalenko had the turnaround of the tournament, starting off very slow with a couple losses, but then he really fought back and won a lot of chess games this event. Vanis Gabuzian also finishing on 5 points, and Sam Sevian and Daniel Friedman tying for fourth with 4.5. And in the C group, what's going on here? Arturs Nixons once again First place in the C group, outstanding tournament from him, outstanding chess games, some pretty crazy ones as well. Definitely a lot of excitement from our tours. Aram Hakobian, ending on 6 points, will take second place. And depending on the result in Dimitri's game here, which we're expecting Dimitri to possibly win, although it's looking maybe not. I don't know. We can't really decide on our group here.
No, I've decided he's going to win this thing.
He's going to win this thing,
He's going to win this thing, yeah.
Here's my question.
Uh-huh.
Knight g4 check. What are you playing?
All right. Let's say king f7.
Well, then I'll play knight h6 check.
King g7.
Okay. You've finally done something mean to me.
I don't
So
know
yeah,
if I
still knight g4. We get a lot of these similar positions, but my king seems pretty close.
So, just to show, the tactic that White has to avoid is he has to avoid this thing. So he needs the king basically to be on g6. And
Right.
even if I'm on g6, there's this weird thing where you still come back and check me to get back to f7 quick enough. Let's put this on the board. So, in fact, let's just go back a couple moves just to see. In this position, he took, which seems like it shouldn't destroy anything. But we're wondering about knight g4.
Going for some kind of repetition. And this would matter a little bit in the standings, at least. If Dimitri were to win, he would tie for second, which is, an excellent result for him. With just a draw, that puts him in third place. So, a lot of money actually on the line in the C group here, as well as maybe
I don't know. Let me just
standard,
try this. I'm not sure. So here,
standard things in a chess
here.
game. Knight f7 though.
You could think about knight g8 too. Knight f7, king g6,
And king e8. I'm approaching rapidly.
all right.
Okay, going for a Zugzwang type thing again,
I
but
have
maybe
to do a Zugzwang. Yeah.
king e7.
And it's been a long day. I'm not sure about my Zugzwang skills, but that's what we're aiming for here. Knight c6. And actually, just to show this as an idea, imagine king e8. What I want it to be black to move here. Right? If it's black to move, then it's probably not so hard. Okay, so something like this is what I'm aiming for, and it shouldn't be that difficult to do.
Really? And how do you lose the tempo?
Well, first maybe let's start from the top.
Mm-hmm.
Now, actually, I'm really not sure exactly what I do. It was like, this is our position. Oh, by the way, black played king e8, which maybe is a better try anyway. The question with king e8 was, what about Mr. King g7, right?
So knight f7 kind of almost transposes from that position.
But look,
You could also play knight g4.
look. Oh, it's really weird because, okay, knight c6.
So this is the position you aimed for, right?
That was one of the ones I
Yeah.
thought was really good.
But
Yeah.
maybe knight g4 is his idea.
Okay.
Putting the knight further away from the king slightly. So if king g7, knight g4.
Okay. Again, I got the Zugzwang with a knight move like knight f5, right? And your king has to go somewhere funny. Okay, king g6 was just played. Right, and so, what did we say before? It was king e8.
We were looking
I
at
wanted to do king g7. That seemed right because then on knight f7 I have the knight c6 Zugzwang.
Well, king g6, I still want to play knight g4, I think, rather than the
Let's say
original
go king
idea.
g7.
Just king e7. I don't know how you're ever going to push h6 with the king on g7, is my only concern. Because you can push my knight away for a tempo, but I think you can always get back using some kind of check. I'll play king e8 and just sit on it. So king e8 might be a bad square, because then I get checked when you promote. If I play king e6 and you play the same idea, knight h2, do I have time to come back and capture your pawn?
How would you do it?
I guess maybe I cannot.
It's a major bummer with the rook pawn.
It is.
This is
a
the position
shame.
we've got on the board, and I believe it's now. So I wanted, as I said, I wanted it to be white to move here so that we could play knight c6. But I'm assuming that there's going to be a way to push the knight away here. Yeah. Do I do I know exactly how it is? Not yet. But so, for example, the problem is knight c6 here, and I don't quite know how to do it. So this is our current position, and okay, let's say king e7.
Some serious difficulty.
Let's say
yeah.
let's just pretend that's forced. And one. No, that doesn't work. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens here. So a move
So
was just
this
made.
is the position we have.
Knight
Knight f5
f5.
check. King e8 seems natural. I never really know when I should play king e8 or king e6, but I guess e8 is a bit more natural. You want to keep an eye on the f8 square if the white king ever leaves. I don't see the idea for white. I don't know how you can achieve this kind of zug. Maybe you play king g6 after king e8, but then there's just like a knight check and back to f7.
So, right, we need to lose a move, basically. This is one of these endgames, right, where there's going to be some losing the move thing. For example, right, and the reason why you have to do the lose the move thing is that there's always a color thing. It's always white, black, white, black, white, black. And in this position, for example, you would very much like it to be black's move. Or, for example, we put the knight on g6 and then told black it was his move. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite work that way. Now, do I still think this is a win? I think so. So knight h4, let's just massage a little bit and just to get a sense. White played knight g3. Maybe he has some notion here. We're going to assume king e7. That was played, yeah. Now, if you're white, you go around and you go around and you go around.
Yeah, try every square on the board for the knight before you give up.
But it is the color thing, and there is no way. The only way to lose a move would be to somehow triangulate the king.
Right.
So one thing we could do is if he ever goes king on a king, we construct a situation where when he goes king e6, maybe we can do that. So, for example, let's say knight e4.
Here we see the, it looked like the other players in Ganguly and Jones and David Howell were about to agree to something, but no, they were just switching out their notation sheets, preparing for more and more and more chess moves, passing that move 60. Fun stuff.
That game's going to be a draw. Those guys just like to play.
Yep.
So king e6 on the board, and this might be a moment for king. I don't understand king g6 that much here.
Yeah, king g6. There's just a knight e5 check probably, and then if anything but king g7, then the black king can come to f7.
It does seem like with that, it was the move where he played king g6 and I wanted king g7. That seems like the move where he lost The color, the back and forth color.
Yeah, maybe.
And if you ever just go look at knight endgame studies, you'll see this white-black thing quite a bit. Okay, he played king g8. He's trying to lose his move.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, there we go. King g8. And, oh, good. I like this. So imagine knight h6, king h7, knight f7, king g7. We've triangulated and got that thing.
You have, but what if I just play king e7? What then?
I'm going to think then about king h7 to come back to g7.
Then king f8. I don't think you can give me this f8 square.
That might be true.
So what if...
Let's say
Let's say
king e7.
Okay. I have a silly idea. So what if I come back to g7, I come back to e6, and then I play king h7 in that position?
Or, even maybe better, I play king f8 in this position.
Ooh. So knight h6 is my intuition.
But then didn't I just, no, I didn't do it. I didn't triangulate there, right?
So if you're saying king g7, knight f7, did we achieve our goal?
I didn't triangulate, did I? Okay, wait, let's go to the game. So this is our position. And I need to still lose a move. How about king h7 here? Excuse me, it's not even my...
Hold on, there's some controversy in the other game. Rook f7 was just played. Are we sure this is a draw?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, why don't we take a look and see what's going on? All the way back up in Group A.
All the way.
Rook f7, so there's this threat to take on f6, right? And if d7, then there's maybe a bishop a4 check, maybe not. Well, if d7, there's a rook takes f6, rook takes f6, and then I can't calculate.
So let's say d7. I assume
Right.
that's the intention. Now, the first thing is if here, oh yeah, this might, because on rook a2 you get to snip.
But what happens on queens?
I don't know.
That'd be my fear, is that black is simply checkmated.
I kind of doubt it though, because we get to, well, I have no idea what's happening here.
Maybe this is the game we should be looking at.
What do you mean? We have that knight end game.
Yeah, night end games are fun, but look at how many pieces are on this board.
Okay, so this is our game position, and I think the reason this is turning into a struggle is they kind of wanted it to be a struggle. They were like,
they've been fighting every step of the way to avoid this draw, and one player might have succeeded.
all right, they've both got 0 time.
What to do? D7 is the only way. Otherwise, rook takes f6 and then queens. It's got to be d7 here. So d7.
Wait, how about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this looks kind of. No, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
And you give me like one check. But
Okay,
then,
so d7 happened.
so rook takes f6 is the critical line, I think.
Well, also bishop a4, right?
Well, bishop a4, I thought that looked
Well, how does?
drawn. King takes c5.
And now there's 2 questions. One is bishop takes. That's the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one, and I don't know.
So bishop a4 check was played, and I guess this pin is actually really, really annoying. Might have underestimated this one.
Oh, Gawain, you lost your 2,700 rating, buddy.
Yikes.
Dangs. I think he's in big trouble.
Did David Howell gain his 2,700 rating? Seems possible. Let me pull up the live ratings here. See what's going on. Oh, that's crazy. David Howell is gaining exactly 0.0 rating points so far. So a win today would put him in the positive, but not over 2,700.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What does that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's got. That's funny that they got it all the way down to 2692.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like I guess I guess Gawain blew it there. And let's look back. We had the thought that if King F8, this would be a draw. And one thing we should say for sure is now if we lifted the knights off the board, it would be a draw. So that's already one thing in Black's favor.
Our rule of thumb holds.
Yeah, so okay.
It
It looks
just
like
changes
Eltron
every
did
time.
it looks like there was like one moment that Gordievsky missed it. Yeah, brutal. Okay.
Well, there is a lot of tries for Black to really hold that endgame, and we found ourselves wandering down this path. But I thought that, like, especially that King takes B7 move earlier looked pretty strong.
It was surprising that he got away with it. And maybe we missed something, but that was kind of what we saw.
Yeah, we have more moves played in that other game still going on. So Rook takes. So Bishop A4 check, King D6, and then Rook takes F6. So kind of combining the ideas. So you have to stop the pawn. So Rook F1.
Bishop F5.
Bishop F5, and wow, Rook A1 is forced, and then this is just dead lost. Just H5, H4, H3, H2, H1.
Bishop
Touchdown.
F5 on the board. Oh, guys. Okay, well, let's wrap it up there. That's the end. That is the end. Maybe we'll take a commercial break, and I will say goodbye. I have to run off to do something. I'll say goodbye. It was a beautiful tournament. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah. Thank you, Jesse, for joining me. So we're going to take a quick break, and then I guess I'll come back to wrap things up. What a tournament we've had indeed. There we see the final two players shaking hands, calling it a day. And with that, the Summer Chess Classic has been concluded. No more chess left to be played. So let's take a look and see where all the players ended up. In Group A, once again, Liam Lee takes home $12,000 with a first place score of 6 out of 10. It was a very close field in Group A, with Jeffrey Zhang and David Howell both finishing on 5.5 points, just behind Liam Lee. Sam Shankland takes home 4th place with an even score of 5 out of 10. Daros Swiertz had a very respectable tournament, played very resilient chess and very interesting chess, but only came home with 5th place at 4.5 points. And Ganguly Jones kind of suffered a catastrophe halfway through and has lost quite a few games in the latter half of the tournament, bumping them all the way down to 3.5. Over in Group B, we have Grigory Oparin taking home 1st place with an astounding 1.5 point lead over the rest of the field. He takes home $6,000. Igor Kovalenko once again had the comeback of the tournament. Started off slow, but came back and won quite a number of games in the latter half of this event. And Ovanes Gabuzian ties Kovalenko for 2nd place, also with 5 points. And let's check out Group C. Arturs Nixons takes home sole 1st place in the C group. It was a rocky road for Arturs, but he seemed to always come out on top when the complications arose. Aram Hakobian was his nearest competitor, scoring 6 points and taking home $3,000. Dmitry Gordievsky perhaps had the best chance of anyone to catch Arturs with his game against Arturs yesterday. It was a crazy event, and Arturs managed to draw the game, but likely missed quite a few wins along the way. Elshan had a 5 out of 10 score, an even score, taking home $2,000. Once again, congratulations to all of our champions this year, Liam Lee, Grigory Oparin, and Arturs Nixons, your Summer Chess Classic winners. Unfortunately, Liam Lee was not able to come in for an interview, but we wish him all the best in his future chess exploits, and we hope to see him back in St. Louis. Upcoming events, we actually have the Grand Chess Tour leg in Croatia. Will be going on for the next probably week and a half or so. Very exciting stuff. The world's best players all joining us in Croatia to battle it out. People like Fabiano Caruana and Magnus Carlsen, the world champion. And you can join us here on our YouTube channel for more commentary on that event. Better commentators than I, such as Yasu Sarawan, Jovanka, Alejandro, Maurice, all of these famous faces will be giving you the best commentary available for Croatia. We also have the U.S. Junior Championship, the U.S. Girls Junior Championship, and the U.S. Senior Championship coming up directly after Croatia, starting July 10th. Once again, it's an exciting summer of chess here in St. Louis. Well, it's about time to call it there, I think. So thank you so much for joining me and joining Jesse for this entire tournament of the Summer Chess Classic. We had a blast giving you the best coverage we could over these games, some astounding players, some astounding games, and we will see you in the next event.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club.